아니, 전기료 용량 소화하는 거는 거의 답이 나오네. 거기서 하여튼 이번에 SF 본체하고 하는 거는 다 커버할 수 있게 해라.
예.
힘들기고 시간 좀 노리고 있다.
내가 노릴 게 있으니까 뭐 나야 창주씨가 다 하면 좋지.
아니야, 힘들긴 욕심이구만. 물 먹는 아마처럼.
Okay, this is showing you more or less the shape of the refractory over one furnace, exaggerating a bit the large parts and the smaller parts, and it's showing the different areas. This is metal, slag, and solid charge. And of course, the part which is submitted to the strongest wear is the slag part. So the wear of the furnace is going like this. And of course, when this descends, then it was this actually. Okay. This, especially if you are working with high productivity and at higher temperature, meaning that, as I told you, I would assume that if metal is at 1350, slag could be at 1400, 1450. So there are different countermeasures to be taken because on an SAF furnace the normal campaign is at least 1 year, but mostly they target 2 years or so. And there is no way to, at the contrary of the EAF, there is no way to make a rapid intermediate reparation during a weekend. A SAF furnace you don't empty during the campaign. Okay, so
say that again, please.
sorry.
Say that again, please. Just before. I didn't hear you just before. Warriors. What?
The SAF furnace will not be stopped during the campaign,
Yeah.
and it will not be emptied. It will not be empty, or they will not extract the metal and the slag.
Yeah.
And so you cannot repair it during the campaign.
Nice.
Okay.
During the campaign is how much time?
The normal campaign is at least 1 year. But some SAF furnaces work over 1 year.
여보세요?
SAF will rely mostly 1 to 3 years. And during a tap oil repair, it's not exactly what I said, because during a tap oil repair, they stop charging, and after you let the slag descend, and you see, a tap oil repair, it mostly is a slag tap oil repair. So you don't charge, you let the slag descend until here, then you tap the metal, so the slag will be even lower than the tap oil slag. Then you can do some repair. You can the remaining slag will be, let's say, frozen, and you can change a few bricks here. Before developing sophisticated cooling methods of the walls, the simplest wall cooling has been water. So, simple water falling along the wall, the external steel shell. And traditionally it is done like this. And then you have some fins. You understand? There are some fins like this, which are like this to force the water to go everywhere.
And the water is a flow along the walls.
Yes, along the walls, and below there is a kind of water trough. You understand? Like this.
그냥 파이프에서 흘러내리는 거. 그렇지 뭐 스프레이트
But
흘러내린대.
this is, of course, this is also the old style cooling. And this was enough when furnaces were working only with 90.2 megawatt per square meter. Because, of course, the productivity plays a role. As I explained to you, when working at lower productivity, the slag, the the area close to the wall will not be so hot. But this is when working at lower productivity. If you want to go to high productivity, you will have all the furnace active and the furnace will be hot everywhere. Try to explain a bit why. No. Too big. The currents, know that the currents go from one electrode to the other, and the currents do it like this. And of course, when you have higher currents, you are going to heat more against the walls. So really, when working at maximum productivity, you will encounter problems of wear of the sidewall. And then the traditional water, falling water cooling will not be enough.
아까처럼 생긴다는 건가?
전류 크기가
전류 클런트가 저렇게 흘러간다 서로.
그 전류가 크면 클수록 이쪽 이쪽으로
이것도 그럼 인덱스 뭐 이런 거 정해서 해야 되는 거니까.
No, I will make a little bit thermal analysis of the problem. This is this area. And I am showing you the thermal profile. Okay, in reality there is behind one insulating brick, so it's not only one brick type. So the temperature profile is like this. And here to water. So this is 40 degrees, and this is 1450. This is the refractory part, the insulating part, and things like this. Now, of course, to better cool, it may be better to have no insulating. Meaning, at the end, we finish having just this. And of course, if the wall is eroded, we have this. And then you will have water boiling. So, what is the remedy to this and to improve the system? It is installing an improved cooling, basically it is basically it consists of installing a water-cooled copper system and having behind this ensuring the contact by carbon no, sorry. Yes, it's like this, yes. And then these bricks are more conductive bricks.
Mm.
And I think you understand that this is carbon paste. The purpose of the carbon paste is to improve the contact of the brick, to not put a thermal resistance between in the system. Because the purpose is that water extracts calories, and instead of having this profile, you will have this. Actually, it descends much lower. Even lower than 100. Huh? Okay, if we do it like this to explain. But of course, as you can see, this is providing, you see here the temperature of the brick is lower, so this is better for the resistance of the brick. There is a temperature difference here between liquid metal, liquid slag and the brick, and the heat flux. This is the heat flux in watt or in kilowatt per square meter. It is in the brick, it is lambda delta theta, or temperature difference. Let's put it delta T is more clear. So over refractory thickness. And it is also equal to the this is delta T, and it is also equal. It is also equal to convective coefficient of water times T wall or T steel minus T water. And in this case, since you are using inside the copper, you have, this is forced cooling. Forced cooling means very high cooling coefficient, and it means the copper is at the same temperature than the water, and since copper is very conductive to heat, inside the copper there is also no or very small temperature difference, meaning this side of the copper is at same temperature than the water. The gradient in the copper is like this, and this is the water temperature. In case of this one, we have refractory heat flux, and it is equal because here the carbon paste ensures very good contact, so this temperature is equal to the temperature. So for the copper is copper, delta T copper, over copper. So since the thickness is small, it's few centimeters, the thickness of copper, and since this is very high, then this will be very small, low, few degrees, less than 10 degrees, don't know, 5 degrees or so. But this heat flux must be also equal to H water T copper minus T water, and this is small, and this must be large, more than 1,000, but maybe a few thousand. What? Square meter per Kelvin. I don't know if you are familiar with this thermal calculation. In a future step, I mean, when we will study more in detail the cooling, then I will give you a more detailed, I will teach you this more in detail, and there is also a simple Excel sheet to be done to well understand this. Also more simple than the mass and energy balance. Using the characteristic of the refractory and of the copper, using the thermal characteristic, the conductivity and the dimension and the thickness, you can calculate the heat profile on a very simple way. But here it's only to give you a feeling how things are. So, of course, doing this forced cooling of the wall will at the end increase the heat flux to protect the refractory, to reduce the maximum temperature of the refractory, requires to double or more the heat flux, and that means that you accept to have higher heat losses. There is no mystery. Huh? You cannot have both no heat losses and the wall is well cooled. That's not possible. Huh? And the result of that is of course the wall can be warm as well, but after a certain point the wall will be stabilized. The wear will be stabilized. And I have seen myself, because I was one of the inventors of this system, of 12 volt. We have then measured. We had initially here we had 50 centimeters, and at the end we had 25 or so, and it was stabilized. No. I can give you some figures. This system, of course, the heat losses and the wear is higher near the tapping holes, etc. The system can withstand 200 or even more kilowatt per square meter. Or sometimes even more.
Where? The heat flux of where?
This is the heat flux.
Yeah. Which part? Which area?
It's locally the heat flux when the wall is warm. There is not a big thickness, but it is stabilized.
Yeah.
Where is it stabilized?
But when the wall was stable, wearing stabilized or wall is stabilized.
The wear of the wall
Is stabilized. In that case, what's about the water temperature?
That's of course that's the real problem. You can afford that. In this case, you see the water temperature is higher. Here it is, let's say, 40 degrees, and here it will be 70 degrees. But of course, it must not exceed 70, 75 is okay, but not more. Because once you have 90, at some points you can begin boiling, water boiling. And water boiling is not good, you understand.
Does the coming plan test when you work for 4 hours?
Sorry, we have tested this.
Temperature. I mean.
Yes, we measured this, of course. And even on industrial staves, we call this a stave, like on the blast furnaces. Even on industrial pieces, we measure water temperature all the time.
I guess also the water consumption is very high. I mean the circulation amount.
Yes, maybe high. But this depends then on the technology. Because now I'm going to explain you the differences.
Okay.
Because there are big differences.
플러스 다이내믹 속도는 열이 킬로와트로 접근하잖아요.
대략 지금
전기로 보면 280에 250에 320에 800이나 그래서
You understand this formula? You? Yes. You also?
Yeah.
The formula of conduction through a wall. Okay. Now I will explain the differences. I make a simplified drawing. The Demac system is like this. The Demac system is understand. These are a kind of fins. They say also fingers, but it's not fingers. It's water-cooled fins which are penetrating between the refractory. Like this. Not exactly like this because I think you must have like this. So here the effect is to pull, and of course you may have you may put also the contact to improve the contact carbon mass. You can see this ensures a very a cooling inside the refractory wall. Once you have this, the refractory wear will be like this. This will- like this. Okay.
So is it working well?
Sorry?
Working well? Is that working well?
What?
Working well.
Where? Ah, working where?
well.
This is a good thing, but okay. For me, depending on the heat flux, in some cases this can be destroyed
Mm.
because when it becomes very hot,
Yeah.
it is too far from the water.
Mm.
So, okay, this is my opinion. They claim they have good result on the IDI SAF furnace. Iron dynamics. USA.
What does that mean? IDI. Iron dynamics.
Iron dynamics industry or some ink, probably ink. Incorporated.
Ah, is it company name?
Company name, yes.
You mean they developed that one?
No, Demag. This is the Demag system.
Yeah, demand system, I
You can see.
understand.
But they installed it first on this furnace
Ah, yes.
in the USA.
What about in SAF, the freezing temperature of slag in this case, normally?
Freezing temperature of the slag is normally about 1300 degrees. In the cases we are speaking of, Fahrenheit, etc. or depending between 1250 and 1300. And so it's tough to resist to this. Now we see how is the hatch system. They call the waffle system. It's a intermediate.
Yes.
And the Paul Witzes, no? The Polvik system is the most simple. It's like this. So only one cover plate, but behind this is steel, and the big difference is the following: these two are water cooled, forced water cooling. Meaning water under pressure. And the problem with this system is, and this I have experimented, the problem is when you have this pressure water cooling, if you have an accident, meaning a breakthrough here, water is going inside the furnace and you have an explosion. This you know. It is every metallurgist and every operator is a nightmare. I have, in my career, I have 2 explosions. It's difficult. So, and therefore, we invented this, which cannot give an explosion. You cool the copper only by water spray. And there is no pressure. And the water is then collected. You see, then you have around the furnace, you have several boxes like this. And each one the water is collected. And
What about the water amount?
it's the water amount is comparable. You have to cool the water. No? It's a closed loop.
Yeah.
The water amount is the same because the water amount, if the furnace is at a given temperature, in every case, you cool the furnace wall about the same
Then in
way.
in your case, the plate is contacting directly with the slab.
No. Here, of course, here we have the refractory. And but actually we have two. Normally we have two layers. And when it's warm, you have this. With a frozen layer of slag. And here you have the carbon paste.
In that case, normally, what about the thickness of slab?
You cannot measure this because when you empty the furnace, since the temperature has decreased when you empty, then you have a big, a very thick layer. But it's not in reality. Well, in reality, you can calculate it. In reality, it's a layer of probably less than 1 centimeter, a few millimeters, probably. But of course,
when it has a stable situation,
established situation, yes. Because of course, when you cool the furnace down and you empty it, everything is freezing, and then you obtain a thick layer. But that's not true. In established situation, before stopping the furnace, you have a very, very thin layer. But it's enough. It stabilizes the wear of the refractory.
Once it is stabilized, then no erosion or corrosion is occurred?
Yes. We had this over... I must explain something. We had this over 3, 4, 5 months, but not 1 year. But the reason is the pole vault furnace was different. It was not a SAF. Maybe you remember this one. In this furnace, we had strong bottom stirring. In the Taiwan furnace, I think 12 plugs, injecting huge amount of nitrogen, and this makes everything strongly stirred. So the wear is much stronger. You imagine, because here in the normal furnace the slag is not circulating. It's making just a bit like water in a glass. But in the pole vault furnace, specific furnace, where we installed that, we had here the slag. You can see with the eyes, because in this furnace you don't have the layer. You don't have solid layer. You charge it by gravity, and it is immediately absorbed by the by the slag. But the slag is strongly circulating, so the wear is stronger. So here the effect of this was to improve the campaign duration from, say, 1 month to 4 or 6 months. Not from 1 month to 3 years, but 6 months was a very good result.
Yeah. But I never see that kind of cooling system
This kind
is applied on the EAF, not SAF. EAF. Does that can be applied?
No. In EAF, it's a different. In EAF, you have pipes, huh?
No slag. No. The slag layer. Refractory and also
Yeah.
panels, but sometimes slag is located below the panel.
No, in EAF you have this. You have the panels
Yeah.
done with pipes, and sometimes you have what they call studs, and you make gunning.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is going to be lost, but hopefully you have new slag coming and lining the pipes.
But there is side panels, but sometimes the slag also located below that part.
Yes.
In that case, some of EAF operators worry about the corrosion or erosion of refractory
Yes.
of the lower cell.
Because below
Yeah.
this you have refractory, of course.
Yeah.
And this is in the EAF. This is the problem.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of things can be applied over there. No?
Yes, you are right. Exactly. We have proposed this. I have proposed it, but the problem is it's more expensive than these panels.
Which one? That one is more expensive.
This one is a big because this is no copper.
Yeah, no.
This is steel, and here you need copper. Copper is required. But you're right, huh? If this works, if you find a way, because my pharma company, Paul Wert, is expensive.
So that's why I never saw that the cooling system, that cooling system is located just EAF. No.
No. Not EAF. It's this kind of furnace which is between SAF and EAF, but it works like SAF. Huh? It works like SAF. It is not melting steel. It is melting residues, and it is fabricating a hot metal with 3% carbon. So it is working like SAF, and it is also tapping alternatively slag and metal and etc. It is really working like a SAF, with the difference that you have not the solid burden about.
셉은 카본이 많으니까 웨트 온도도 너무나 다 끓여요. 1300, 1400. 이 1600은 기본이 있어요. 그 차이도 큰 거 아니에요. 제 정리하는 게. Okay, I see.
And actually, this is rather simple. And here you cannot have explosion, because if you have a breakthrough, you have water is boiled out, is vaporized, and it's finished, because the local flow is very small. Huh?
Yeah, seems to very good.
Spray is a very small flow.
I see.
Should we
Should
have
we
a break? Yes. 10 minutes.